Piastri! Oscar Piastri, you know. He is the subject of today's unscripted here on Intern Talks Wheel. And it wouldn't be the first time he was the subject of an unscripted, but today we're going to talk about something a bit different. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use the Piastri announcement to talk about something I didn't really think I ever wanted to talk about until some discourse that took place yesterday. So folks, it's been announced by McLaren themselves that Oscar Piastri has been given a contract extension. And it's very interesting that he's been given one this early into his current contract. For those of you who don't know, Piastri was already on a contract that expires at the end of next year, which means they've effectively done it. Seeing that we're at the beginning of the second season of his contract, it's kind of weird. But anyways, Piastri was given a contract last time, and it was supposed to expire at the end of 2026. We are nowhere near the end of 2026, or even the start for that matter, and he's already been renewed for another multi-year deal, which means this contract is probably gonna go to 2027 or even 8, right? So I'm gonna comment on how I feel about this extension specifically, and then I'm gonna get to the real meat of the matter, which is what I think about multi-year deals in general. So I'd be lying if I didn't think this was kind of knee-jerkish, you know? I feel like this extension is a tad knee-jerky, man. Just a little tops. Now listen, I've already covered my thoughts on Oscar Piastri already in an earlier unscripted that I'm gonna link at the top of the screen. I've always wanted to link a video at the top of the screen. Now is my chance. Boom, there it is, up there. There's the link. Go watch that so I don't repeat myself here. But the bottom line is, I've always thought that it was kind of knee-jerky. From the very moment it was announced that they would be extending a contract that was already gonna expire in a pretty late year, it does come off as knee-jerk, and here's why. Piastri has shown growth over these past 2 seasons. But the thing is, his performances last year, to me at least, would have been in a manner which would have wanted me to see out 2025 before making a decision. I think that's the best way I can explain it. How he performed last season would make me want to see 2025 before extending him. Granted 2026 would be a contract year and he would be able to sign with another team come 2026, because that's the year his contract would expire. So I guess this is really just a preventative measure. They're trying to lock Piastri in, clearly. But is he worth locking in is the real question. I don't think he proved in 2024 that he's necessarily worth locking down long term. Unless you use 2024 as a buffer and you're like, you know what? He's showing improvement, which means 2025 is going to be another improvement. But even then, give it a couple races in 2025. Yeah? Don't just lock him in immediately. Give it till mid-year, and then you're like, okay, Piastri, we're not even going to let you go into a contract year with us next season. We're going to keep you because you've cooked this first half of the season, and we want you forever. Forever is a long time, but in the context of contracts, 4 years, that's forever. If Piastri stays, if this multi-year deal ends in 2028, then Piastri is effectively on a 4-year deal right now as we speak, which is kind of insane. And you know, McLaren continued to embrace Piastri, the Alpine Formula 1 driver that never was, the guy they successfully snatched from the poor Enstone team. But I do wonder, man, I really wonder, is this too soon? I think it might genuinely be too soon. And maybe Piastri will cook this year and I will eat my words. But that's if he cooks this year. I'm giving my opinions based off of what I've already seen. Yes, I have nothing else to go off of besides his first 2 seasons of F1, and I personally don't think he's shown anything in those first 2 seasons to warrant an extension this long, this soon. Again, I say it again, if they had extended him come mid-season after they had seen him cook a bit of black fares, man, lock him down. But making such a such a bold decision this soon, kind of crazy. Right before the first race of the year. Ugh, listen, man, Piastri needs to match Lando this year. You took too many days off last year, man, and he made up for it late in the season, or in the mid part of the season, but didn't excuse the days off that he took randomly. There were weekends where he was not even in the same stratosphere as Lando, and the Piastri fans keep telling me, listen, man, he's in year 2, damn it. He's only gonna get better, and that is true. But when he reaches that better, will it still be on Norris's level? Or close? That's the question. But I want to talk about multi-year deals in general, because if Piastri's contract ends in 2028, that's a 4-year deal effectively. You got 25, 6, 7, 8. That's 4 years. And it makes me wonder, is anyone really worth a contract more than 3 years? Is any Formula 1 driver ever worth a contract that exceeds 3 seasons? Is 3 seasons like the perfect cap on contracts? Because I'm just here thinking to myself, like, who can I think of that's worth a deal longer than 3 seasons? And the only name that comes to mind is Max Verstappen. I think Max Verstappen absolutely deserves a contract more than 3 years because he's young, he's a world champion, and he's probably the best driver in Formula 1 right now. And, you know, he's been with Red Bull through thick and thin, man. So him being on a super long deal makes sense. And even though Leclerc isn't a world champion, in the context of Ferrari, I also get locking down a talent like him for a very long time, because you don't want a guy like him to go elsewhere and cook. Leclerc's shortcomings at Ferrari, for the most part in terms of never challenging for a world championship, are attributed to Ferrari, not necessarily him. I don't think Ferrari have given Charles Leclerc a championship winning car, so you can't use his lack of world championships against him. I think he's driven at a high level ever since he came to the team, and yes, he makes the mistake here and there, but especially going off of 2024, he's proven that he absolutely deserves the long-term deal he's on. I think prime Lewis Hamilton would have been deserving of a deal longer than 3 seasons too, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Lewis has ever signed a contract that's longer than 3 seasons ever in his career. In 2015, he signed a 3-year extension. That's 16, 17, 18. And then when he got the extension in 18, he signed until the end of 2020. And I think when 2020 came, you know, he kept re-signing. But it was never anything long-term. But giving Prime Hamilton a long-term deal would have made sense. As of right now, I can only think of 4 drivers in Formula 1 that I could realistically see get a 4-year deal, and I wouldn't think twice about it. Or I wouldn't think that deep about it. And they are Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, and Russell. Those 4 are the only 4 drivers I can think of that could get a 4-year deal, whether it's with the team they're on or with another team, and I wouldn't second guess it. Because I think those 4, in terms of their youth and talent, warrant being invested in long term. I don't see that with Piastri, at least not yet. At least not yet, yeah? So I wouldn't put Piastri in that bracket either. But if we're talking about youth and talent, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Russell, those are the only 4 guys that could get a 4-year deal, and I wouldn't look the other way. Hamilton, in his age right now, a 4-year deal don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. And the thing is, when you sign a guy to a 4-year deal, you also have to pray that he never falls off. And if he does fall off, you need to have like something in the clauses to say, if you do fall off, we can ship you out. Because having to buy out that contract because somebody fell off, which McLaren know very much about given how 2022 played out. Having to buy out a contract is no simple feat, man. And it's nothing teams want to do either. So you have to put yourself in a position where you're not in a position to have to buy somebody out. And I don't think Piastri will honk so bad that he gets bought out. But another thing about multi-year deals that also worries me is that If you're signing one, you have to be prepared to clog up your junior program, assuming your team has a junior program. Because look, if you're a McLaren junior right now, you're not getting a seat, big bro. You're not getting a seat. You need to use it as, just like Bortoleto, you need to use them to just get around the conversation so that somebody else can pick you up, i.e. Sauber. Sauber poached him from McLaren because McLaren ain't have no space for him. And I think if you're doing that, if you're going to sign guys to long-term deals, it means you're comfortable with your juniors not having the final destination that is the Formula One seat. And it's not just Piastri. I know I've been talking about Piastri, but if Franco Colapinto is on a 5-year deal, he's another one that I question. What the hell is Franco Colapinto doing with a 5-year contract in Formula One? He was great last season, at times, but a 5-year deal, that's the real knee-jerky to me, bro. That's the real knee-jerk signing to me. But fret not, because yesterday I recorded an unscripted about Alpine and their situation in general. I was going to upload that one yesterday until this Piastri news came, and then it made me want to ramble about this more. So you're gonna hear this one and then the Alpine one. Maybe it's even better to put it in that order. This fell into my lap perfectly. But I'm gonna end this unscripted by asking you, is it worth signing any Formula One driver to a deal longer than 3 years? And if yes, who are the Formula One drivers, not just now, but ever, that you think were deserving of deals that surpassed 3 seasons? My name is Intern. I talk that wheel. And I'm signing out. Go into the comments now and answer the question. And don't forget to like the video. Never thought I'd have to say that, but yeah. Like the video, please. If you actually liked it, that is. No need to lie. I can take it. But yeah, Intern out.